Artemis Racing, Road to Bermuda, in association with Ulysse Nardin.
It was here in the San Francisco Bay with the legendary prison island Alcatraz and the mighty Golden Gate Bridge as its backdrop that the 34th edition of the America's Cup was held in 2013. And it is here that the Swedish dream of winning the most distinguished yachting competition will begin.
Det har ju varit en dröm i många år att segla Amerikas Cup. Jag har seglat så många olympiader, jag har seglat ett varv runt jorden och att ha chansen att kunna vinna Amerikas Cup, man kan liksom inte gå miste om det.
It's been competed for, fought over by so many famous people, by so many famous challenges. It's got this aura that will never leave it, and therefore it's unquestionably the biggest thing in our sport.
In Greek mythology, Artemis was the goddess of the hunt and a protector of nature. Today, Artemis represents Sweden's greatest sporting challenge. Representing KSSS, the Royal Swedish Yacht Club in Stockholm, Artemis Racing is one of two teams alongside the Swedish ice hockey team to have permission to use the Royal Swedish symbol, the Three Crowns. Along with teams from the UK, France, Japan and New Zealand, the Swedish challenger will fight it out for the right to take on defending champions Oracle Team USA in the 35th edition of the America's Cup in 2017.
Det är jätteviktigt att det är ett svenskt team. Och det är också lite därav att jag kanske kommit in i teamet också. För det måste vara två svenskar på båten. Och att om vi skulle kunna föra bucklan till Sverige så tror jag det hade varit en enormt stor grej.
At the London Olympics in 2012, Fredrik Löv and Max Salminen struck gold in the star class, Sweden's first Olympic gold in 8 years. They are now two dominant figures in the forefront of the Artemis enterprise, currently living and training here in San Francisco together with the rest of the team. And they are in great company as there are 7 Olympic gold medalists all in all on the Artemis.
When you're on a boat sailing with these guys, you know that they're in their own individual way in the Olympic sailing have put in the hours and the hard work to get there. And so to look over your shoulder at someone like Freddie or look forward and see someone like Perce on the boat with you, it instills a lot of confidence and you have a lot of trust for these people because they've had to do it off their own back before, and it's a chance that you're never going to get in any other team.
Fredrik Löf is one of Sweden's most successful Olympians, having competed in 6 Olympic Games. His fiercest competitor throughout his Olympic career was Ian Percy. Freddie lost out to the British 4-time Olympian at the Sydney Games in 2000 and then again at the Beijing Olympics in 2008, cruelly losing the gold to the Brit in the very last race. However, 4 years later at the London 2012 Olympics, fortunes were reversed and it was the Swede who came out on top in the final race. Now the pair are fighting together towards the common goal.
As ever when you're younger, the rivalry was harder, it was stronger, it was a little bit more competitive. But as you get older, as you get older and you race each other, maybe the adrenaline and the testosterone goes down, and you became friends as well. And over the years, we've had so many battles on the water that have been held between each other with respect. And that's something that has allowed us now to work well together.
Det har ju liksom alltid varit kniven på strupen och ibland hårda ord mot varandra också, men det har alltid funnits en stark respekt på kunskapen och vad vi kan göra på sjön. Men att nu då jobba tillsammans känns ibland lite sådär nästan lustigt, men jag tycker ändå att vi har, det finns en närhet eller en tilltro till varandra.
For Frederick Loof, focusing on the America's Cup has meant a huge change, leaving his family home in Norway to relocate to San Francisco, and upgrading from the traditional starboat to the extreme America's Cup catamarans.
Hello mate, are you home?
I know how much you need your orange juice, but we don't want to give you too much. You might
Get too heavy.
You might work too hard and throw it up or something.
Vi har ju gått in i en ny epok nu. Vi seglar katamaraner, och vi seglar inte bara katamaraner, vi seglar flygande katamaraner som lyfter. Läskrovet eller båda skroven kommer vara ungefär 1,5 meter över vattenytan, och det går enormt fort. Och jämför man en katamaran och en flygande katamaran med en starbåt så är det ju enorma skillnader. Vi hade en target speed på kanske 5,5-5,6 knop på kryssen. Och här kanske vi gör 25 knop.
The America's Cup boats are nothing like any other boat. They're completely different to Olympic sailing or basically any other sailing on the planet. We're on the cutting edge of technology. We're doing, in the mid-40s, sometimes 50 knots of boat speed. And our sailing's typically been very two-dimensional. You can steer left and right, you can go forward, you can go backwards. But in the past, there was no thought of actually controlling how high you are out of the water. And so, for me, I think the America's Cup is about the cutting edge of technology in sailing now, and really pushing the limits in the design and what sailors can do on the water.
The incredible exhilaration, the speeds that you're going. It's like imagining in a car and you're driving down the motorway going really fast. You feel really fast, and then you put your foot down even more. And then there's a certain point where it feels like you're a little bit out of control. You're going too far. Not that I've done this, of course, but you get to a certain point and you feel a little bit out of control. And that's where you are in these boats in strong winds. It's just beyond your comfort zone. You know that you are really, really hauling, and the boat is... But they're made for that, they are made for that. But the feeling of speed and acceleration is so much, you feel like it's being pushed.
Artemis Racing was challenger of record for the last America's Cup in 2013, where teams competed in the relatively new and untested flying 72-foot catamarans. Whilst training in San Francisco, and less than 2 months before the start of the America's Cup, the team suffered a terrible capsize, and one of the crew, Andrew Bart Simpson, tragically lost his life. Andrew Simpson was Ian Purser's best friend and his racing partner when the pair took Olympic gold in 2008 and silver in 2012.
Well, still deeply sad. Unfortunately, I get reminded every day of him not being around, because his skills, his spirit, and his friendship of me was a huge part of everything we did day to day, and was for many, many years. And that's what's so hard now, because he was always the person I turned to for reference, and vice versa. He was the person I would ask advice on, and we would make decisions together. And so it's cruel fate, really, that because of our closeness, professionally as well as personally, but because of it. Professionally, I get reminded very constantly that he's not here.
Vi lägger ju ner rätt mycket energi just på den här biten, safety då. Och vi hade här om veckan en safety-kurs där vi lär oss att hålla andan under vattnet och använda våra syrgastuper, hoppa från höga höjder etc. etc. Så att jag menar, jag tycker fokusen på safety och hur vi utvecklar båtarna, jag ser ingen risk i det direkt. Men visst, tanken slår en och det var ju fruktansvärt det som hände.
With a top speed of nearly 50 knots an hour, America's Cup truly is the Formula One of sailing. And the name of the game is to constantly push the boundaries of what is possible. And here at Artemis base in San Francisco, there is actually a secret number of engineers, designers and constructors working to constantly develop the boat.
Yeah, everything's top secret in the America's Cup. It's all about competitive advantage. If your competitors know everything you're doing, they can respond better to that.
We should actually start moving some things backwards in T1.
Adam May has worked as an aircraft designer at Airbus. And the technology and performance of these new flying catamarans almost has more in common with airplanes than traditional sailboats. For example, the mainsail has been replaced with a fixed wing, larger than the world's biggest passenger plane, the Airbus 380.
There's a lot of similarities between these boats and planes. Well, for now, one thing, these boats are flying, so the whole flying side is a whole other game that's quite recent into the America's Cup. I think the biggest difference is the timeline. We've got an event in a few years, and we've got to design, build and test, and then race, all in that period, whereas most aircraft builds are much longer.
Här har vi AC-72 som användes på America's Cup 2013. Vi kan hoppa upp här. Inga dåliga grejer. Så har vi 4 stycken pedestaler. Här står man och grindar. 2 gubbar på varje och vevar. För att bygga kraft och energi till att manövrera och inte minst trimma båten.
These boats now are really, they're unrecognizable from a sailing boat that we would all see in a marina. There's not much rope, so everything's done by hydraulics and electronics. There's not much of a sail. It's a solid wing mast. And the composite structures that go into it are obviously as advanced as anything else within our sport or any other. So it really is an incredible piece of equipment.
Här har vi vingen till AC-72 som vi använde 2013 i America's Cup. Och det här är då nedre halvan av vingen, så 20 meter. Så ni lägger på ytterligare 20 meter har vi 40 meter vingar, så ni kan tänka er vilka krafter det är. Och det här är då främre delen av vingen. Och ni kan ju tänka er nedre sektionen, alltså compression, alltså trycket och vridkrafterna. Så det är enorma påfrestningar på den här delen av masten.
The 72-foot catamarans used in the 2013 event have now been retired, with a new, smaller but more technologically advanced class taking their place. The hull of Artemis Racing's new boat must be built in Sweden. However, all development work is undertaken at their base in San Francisco. So, how is it possible for a boat so big to lift and fly using only the wind?
Basically, it's a small set of wings under the water. And with a certain amount of boat speed, you're able to lift the boat out of the water. And water being much denser than air, you need much smaller wings in the water than you do for a plane, for example. So it's just like a plane, but in the water. But what's hard for the boat is you've got to maintain a flying height of a very small amount above the water, because if you fly too low and the hull is in the water, you've got more drag, or if you fly too high, you then fall back into the water. So we're basically flying something at very low altitude all the time, and that makes it pretty tricky.
Typical sailing is like driving, say, a go-kart. You've got your accelerator and your brakes, and you've got your wheel. So you basically can trim the sail on or let it off or steer. These 62s are going to be like a Formula One car. We're going to have buttons, we're going to have gadgets, we're going to have all these different controls on the boats. And if you're driving the boat, you need to understand what every little thing on the boat does.
Artemis Racing, Road to Bermuda, in association with Ulysse Nardin.